Shame, a show where we talk about our list of movie blind spots, list of shame, list of something, whatever you want to call it.
That's right.
My name's Andy.
And I'm Adam.
And on Monday, we talked about a movie from my list of shame, but also sort of from your list of shame as well, a movie that neither one of us had seen, football movie called Any Given Sunday, which if you watch Monday's episode, you see that I was not a huge fan of this film at all, but Adam decided to pair that with another movie about football, American football. Not the band American Football. I'm a fan of American Football, the band, if you've ever heard of them.
Yeah, and not football like soccer.
Good stuff. Not football like soccer, but American football. So what movie did you decide, or actually tell us about the movie that you paired Any Given Sunday with? Would you please, sir?
I will. And I thought of another connection. They both have a day of the week in the title.
They do.
All right.
I didn't even think about that.
Me either. All right, guys. Based on the H.G. Blissinger book, which profiled the economically depressed town of Odessa, Texas, and their heroic high school football team, the Pearlman High Panthers, and Friday Night Lights. I believe that's all the words.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, John. How you doing?
Good. You real busy?
I got a minute or two.
All right.
What you got up?
Well, got some characters out here. Mind if
Who you got with you?
Yeah, I got Wilkins.
Well, hey.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Neil. How you doing? Good
to see you. Pretty wife of yours. She's good.
Ready for Friday night? Sure hope so. Seems pretty good. I feel pretty good about it. I really do.
We just, want to come by and visit, maybe talk about defense a little bit, if you got a second.
Yeah, you got the time.
Friday Night Lights came out in 2004. It is written by David Aaron Cohen and Peter Berg, and is also directed by actor turned director Peter Berg.
Battleship's own
Peter Berg, yeah. Buzz Blissinger, who wrote the book. The book's called Friday Night Lights, A Town, a Team, and a Dream. There you go. Berg, like you said, we've done Battleship for the show. He's also done Very Bad Things, which I've never seen, but you've told me it is very bad.
As I recall, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I did not like it when I saw it.
It is two of the three things in the title. The Rundown, which is good.
We did that for the show.
Did we do the Rundown?
We did it with
the
Midnight Run.
Midnight
Run.
I like Rundown.
I like Rundown as well.
Yeah.
I like both of those movies.
And Hancock, it's not great.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Hancock, but screw Will Smith.
There you go. And a bunch of other things. He's gone into this like patriotic kind of kick with Mark Wahlberg, because he did like didn't he do like Deepwater Horizon? He did like Lone Survivor. He did like
Patriots Day, is that right?
Patriots Day, yeah. He did like the Boston Marathon. Is that the Boston Marathon bombing one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of those stuff now. He's kind of found his shtick. Cohen has written movies like The Devil's Own and a bunch of football movies like The Miracle Season and American Underdog, which I think you watched American Underdog.
Yeah, I did, with
Zachary Levi.
I was about to call him Levi. Zachary Levi, yeah, where he plays Kurt Warner, right.
Now I am getting the names right. I just couldn't have done it the last episode.
Yeah.
So Friday Night Lights stars Billy Bob Thornton as Coach Gary Gaines, Lucas Black, a.k.a. Tokyo Drift himself, as Mike Witchell. Wamakashi. Garrett Hunlin, a.k.a. Tron Legacy, as Don Billingsley.
That's where I know him from. Yeah.
Derek Luke as Booby Miles, Jay Hernandez as Brian Chavez, Lee Jackson as Ivory Christian, Lee Thomas Young as Chris Comer, Tim McGraw as Charles Billingsley, and Connie Britton as Sharon Graves. And I will also add that it has Brad Leland in it. And the reason why I mentioned both Connie Britton and Brad Leland is they appear on the TV show in similar roles. And we can talk about that after we talk about the movie. So Friday Night Lights is a movie that I've not seen. I paired it with Any Given Sunday because it's football stuff. I thought you haven't seen it, but apparently you have. So why don't you tell us what you remember about Friday Night Lights and what you think about it this time around?
I saw Friday Night Lights.
Night.
I think on a Friday night. Yeah, and I think I saw it opening night
in Odessa, Texas.
Not in Odessa. No, I was not in West Texas. I was in East Texas. I was actually visiting my parents that weekend, and my dad said, "Your mom and I are going to go see this Friday Night Lights movie. Do you want to go?" And I said, "Sure." So we all went, and I remember liking it. I don't I don't remember if I liked the movie so much, but I just enjoyed being with my parents, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that's the first time that I had seen, like, because my mom never went to the movies. When, like, me and my dad might go, but my mom would always stay home.
Yeah.
So she never really went out to the movies. So I think that's the first time I had been to the movies with both of my parents in over 10 years, probably. So it was cool just to kind of having a night out with them. Again, it came out in October of 2004, so it was a nice fall night,
Yeah.
right? So we all go to the little Podunk movie theater in the little Podunk town that they lived in. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed just kind of spending the evening, going and seeing a movie with my folks, right?
Yeah.
And as I recall, I got like a little mini poster, like they were handing them out as like souvenirs or whatever. And I think I still have it somewhere because I keep everything like a little pack rat, not a hoarder, a pack rat. But I think I have it, because I have like a box of like old posters and stuff. I probably have it somewhere in there. But I haven't seen it, since 2004. I do remember like the book coming out, and I do remember.
Really?
Yeah, all that stuff.
I didn't know it was based off a book until I put these notes together.
I remember seeing it like in the bookstore and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember it, it would talk about it's an Odessa Permia kind of area, and I was like, I mean, I know where that is. I don't know that I've ever been there, but I knew where it was or whatever. So I remember seeing that. And then I think certainly after the movie came out, they probably reprinted the book, or that they came out with a new cover, and it's like the football. It has like Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah, so, right, exactly. So stuff like that. So I watched this after I watched Any Given Sunday. Not right after, but, a couple of days later or whatever. And I hated Any Given Sunday because of the camera work and the editing and all that stuff. The camera work in this is also a little much.
Yeah, it's a little distracting.
But it's not as bad as Any Given Sunday, I will say.
Yeah.
I'm not really a fan of all the shaky cam, even when it's just two characters talking and you have to like do this jittery thing. I just don't get it.
Peter Berg likes that. He likes that docu-style thing. He does it a lot with Battleship. Yeah. I don't think he does it a lot in the beginning, like with the rundown. I feel like that's pretty standard. But with his later movies, he definitely tries to give you that cinema verite, that docu-style, steady cam kind of look to it. I agree.
I get the feeling that people do that because they feel like it makes what you're looking at more interesting. And I'm sure for some people it does. I'm sure for some people that just see a static shot where the camera's not doing this, it's not moving around, or like, what's going on here? Yeah. Because nowadays, and I know, I sound like a broken record. I'm sure I've mentioned this on the show before. Everybody has a short attention span. We've all got our phones and we're like looking at 30-second clips and stuff. So I feel like, and obviously, we didn't have smartphones and stuff back in 2004, but I feel like they do that because it's like the MTV thing, or MTV generation. People are going to lose interest unless we're if we're just sitting here looking at two people talking. That's not interesting enough. We have to make it look like you're on a boat and you're like rocking when you're watching this. But I don't need that. I don't.
I think the reason why people do it like that is because they feel like it gives it like verisimilitude. It makes it, because it's docu style. They think it's going to make the movie less movie like and more realistic. And
it's not. I mean, yeah.
No, I agree.
I see what you're saying.
I think that's why directors do it. Like, I'm willing to kind of bet money. That's why most directors do it. But for me, and we talked about this, any kind of directorial flourishes like that instantly take me out of a movie.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why are they doing it this way? And all that kind of stuff. I start intellectualizing it instead of being sucked into the movie. But I think for an average movie goer, it is more real to them. But yeah, I agree with you. It's unnecessary most of the time.
But having said all that, this isn't nearly, as I said at the beginning, it's not nearly as egregious as Any Given Sunday. It doesn't have all this crazy needle drops and stuff like that. I mean, I think this movie's okay. I'm not like over the moon about it. I mean, I think for me, because I was born and raised and have lived forever in Texas, although I did not live in West Texas, I've been to West Texas. Yeah. And I know in Texas and in other states too, but I know in Texas in particular, football, especially in a small town, is absolutely life, and absolutely football is king. And so I can see, I mean, I've known people that are like in this movie. So when I watch this movie, I mean, I'm like, I've definitely met people and known people and been friends with people like this who football is everything to them, and if, like, I do love that scene where Billy Bob Thornton and Connie Britton and the daughter are like coming out of the grocery store or something. And the two guys drive up and they start talking to the coach, and they're like, "Well, you know, you better win, you know, whatever." And Billy Bob Thornton's like, "Or else, or else what?" Like, and they're like, well, just, you know, they don't quite know what to say, but it's almost like a threat. Yeah. Like, if you don't bring us a state championship, we're gonna kill you. We're gonna kick your. I mean, they're not gonna kill him, but, you know, we're gonna run you out of town.
Well,
you know, or something.
Yeah, that was Brad Leland in the car driving it. But the other thing that he does that I think is really, that they do in the movie that's really interesting, is when they come home and there's all those for sale signs in front of their house, that, you know, the football fans and the parents are like, this guy's terrible, and so they're sending him a message like, you know, get out of the town because you can't, out of here. You're a terrible coach. Yeah.
So I mean, I can see that. I think all that stuff is as silly as can be. Yeah. Like, you know, because although I'm a sports lover and I love watching sports, I love watching football, basketball, all that stuff, I don't take it that seriously.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people do. So when I watch a movie like this, again, I definitely see some truth in it. I mean, you know, there's definitely some melodrama in here as well, for sure.
A little more than a little.
But, well, yeah. But I mean, overall, especially coming off the bad taste that Any Given Sunday left in my mouth, this movie's decent for what it is. I mean, again, this is not high on like my all-time favorite football films or all-time favorite sports films, but I think it's perfectly watchable despite the, you know, rockin' boat, shaky cam and stuff like that, and some other things. But, you know, it's good. I believe Billy Bob Thornton as a coach, you know, because he's got that accent, you know, that he has. You know, Tim McGraw, definitely melodramatic there.
He has some like Chuck Norris going on.
I think this movie's okay. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm just kind of somewhere in the middle. More than anything, I know that this movie is somewhat realistic as far as just how passionate people can be about their high school football.
Yeah.
How about you?
So this is a tough movie for me, and the reason why it is that way is because I adore the TV series. So
which I've never watched.
So I've seen the TV series Friday Night Lights either 3 or 4 times all the way through.
Wow.
Like, I really, really like this TV series. I've encouraged Kirby, and I've watched it together. I encouraged her to watch it. I encouraged my mom to watch it, who's really enjoyed it. I've encouraged my dad to watch it, who's really enjoyed it. Like, I think it's a really, really well done TV series. It's really interesting. There's a little bit in the second season that's terrible. And luckily, I think the writer's strike happened, and they kind of got to basically do a mulligan and move on from it in the third season, and it's all for the better. And also, like, the third and fourth season they cut it in half. So instead of like a 22 episode season, it's 13 episodes, and it just goes by really fast towards the end. So I adore the television series. So this movie has that to compete against, and I don't think it's necessarily fair for the movie, but it's just the way things are for me.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think this is a okay football movie. It's not the best football movie. It's not the worst football. We saw the first football movie. I think it's okay. I'm with you. I think Peter Berg is a little trying to be too naturalistic, too docu-style with the directing on this. I think it's a little over melodramatic and all that kind of stuff. And for me, like, when I'm watching this movie, it's just like, I've seen this better, and it's the TV show. So it's really hard. Like, I get, it's just hard because, like, I get Billy Bob Thornton as Coach Gaines, and he does a good job, but Kyle Chandler is such a great Coach Taylor that it's like really hard to kind of put them together or compare them to, or not compare them, I guess, is the hard part, right? Because it's just like, I've seen this coach and grow that. And even like his relationship with his wife, who in this movie is both in the TV show and the movie is Connie Britton. You get so much like growth out of the characters. You can get so much more from Connie Britton. And like in the TV show, she has career and ambitions and all that kind of stuff. And how does that pair with, the coach's ambitions and all that kind of stuff? You get, there's more time. So you get so much more life and everything out of it than you get from this movie. And it's just like, it's hard, right?
Yeah, so when I first saw this film, I didn't know who Connie Britton was, but since 2004, I've seen her in plenty of
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
So when I was watching it this time and I saw her name in the credits at the beginning, I was like, "Oh, Connie Britton's in this." But she has nothing to do in this
No,
movie.
no, she's just like in a handful of scenes, if
Yeah.
that.
With very little lines.
Yeah, yeah.
So are you telling me in the TV show she's the coach's wife in the TV show,
Yeah.
but it's a different coach?
Yeah, so okay, yeah, that's a great question. So in Friday Night Lights in this movie, it takes place obviously in the 80s. It takes place in Odessa, Texas. In the TV show, for whatever reasons, it takes place in a fictional town outside of Austin called Dillon, Texas. It's the Dillon Panthers.
Okay.
And yeah, the coach, it's not Coach Gaines, it's Coach Taylor. And then the Lucas Black character, there is a character that is like him. It's not Sam Saracen. It's Matt Saracen. It kind of is like him because he also lives with a kind of infirm mother, has to take care of and all that kind of stuff, and he's battling with that. So there is a little bit of that going on. There is a Garrett Hunland character is played by the guy from Battleship that we saw. It was also John Carter. Like he has a one for one.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
I have no clue what his name is.
His name's leaving me right
that
now.
guy.
So he kind of has a one for one in here. So there are some like characters that are built from the book and from these characters. But yeah, it's a completely different place. And for me, it was a mind fuck basically because I'm like watching this and I'm like Coach Gaines. I'm like, who's Coach Gaines? And they're like, this guy. And I'm like, wait, this guy's not Matt Saracen. So
maybe you said it and I missed it. Does the TV show take place in the 80s? No,
TV shows takes place whenever it came out.
Okay.
So it was like a modern telling and all that kind of stuff. So the 2000 mid 2000s is when the TV show takes place.
So maybe Connie just looks fantastic for her age, even though it's 20 years later.
Divorces him.
She divorced,
changes her name.
Coach Gary Gaines, and she moved to Dillon.
I think her name's Tammy Taylor in the show.
She changed her name too.
Yeah.
Same person, same Sharon Gaines,
Yeah.
but she just reinvented herself years later.
So it's hard. So like I said, I can't be. It's hard for me to judge this movie in its own merits because I love the TV show so much, and the TV show is so good, minus that one season. So, but trying to do that, it's okay. It's your pretty bog standard football movie. It follows a team throughout the season. There's ups and downs, but I don't think there's really anything surprising about what happens.
Well, obviously we spoil things. It's interesting that they don't win at the end.
Yeah.
Because in most sports movies, they overcome the odds and they win. They get very close to winning, but they don't.
Yeah, I agree. I'll step that back a little bit. I do agree.
Well, because when I was watching it this time, in my mind, I forgot that they didn't win.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, they're going to make it.
It's
and
like,
then they don't make it. And I was like, oh, wait, they do lose. Okay.
It's the Rocky thing.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I get that. But everything else that kind of leads up to it is interesting. If you know the TV show and what happens in the pilot episode of the TV show, I kept on waiting for that to happen, and I'm like, I wonder if this was an invention of the TV show or from the book or what. It was interesting because I kept on waiting for that one inciting incident to happen, and it doesn't. So it's all that. Yeah, it's just okay. It's okay. I don't think Billy Bob Thornton's especially motivating as a coach and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like I've seen better football coaches, but I don't know.
I thought he was fine.
So that's where I am on it. I got a couple of trivia that I pulled from IMDb. Hopefully it's true. Apparently frustrated with the authenticity of some of the actors playing assistant coaches. Peter Berg turned to actual Pyramid High School coaches to deliver some of the lines during game sequences.
I wonder if one of the people that he hired was that guy that's like, hey, what are you doing without your helmet? The guy that like shrieks.
Yeah, I tried to scream like him. I can't do it.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I was trying to just then. It's hard.
I do like the way he screams.
Yeah.
Basically, some of the live action game sequences were from an actual Pyramid High School football season. They were cut and interspersed throughout the film. There's a Texas experimental post-rock band Explosions in the Skies who scored the movie.
And I do like them.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Explosions in the Sky. I think that music adds a lot to it, yeah.
And so that's kind of what I wanted to add here. I will say the football uniforms look 1,000 times better than Any Given Sunday. Yeah,
I didn't even really notice. I mean, I didn't notice in either movie.
I'll have to show you, I'll have to cut back to the Dallas Knights or whatever they called them.
Yeah.
Dallas Crusaders. You got to look at their uniforms. They're terrible. So yeah, that's my thoughts and things on Friday Night Lights. Where are the critics on this bad boy?
It's pretty fresh. 82%
Wow.
fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, 85% audience. Roger Ebert did give this thumbs up, and Leonard Maltin gave it 3 out of 4 stars.
Wow. That's way higher than both of us, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, I would say I'm favorable on it overall, but not overwhelmingly so. I'm just like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. If it's on,
yeah,
might as well watch it.
Maybe.
I mean, I like Simple Plan better as a Billy Bob Thornton goes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know you don't.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's Any Given Sunday. We're not doing that movie. That's Friday Night Lights. On these Wednesday episodes, we like to answer viewer questions, and we picked one that's fits this week. And it's what our favorite football movies are. I think in the past we talked about what football movies we have yet to see.
Yeah.
And we marked a couple more off the list over the years. But this one's what are our favorite football movies? I have some kind of runner-ups that I would like to talk about, and I'm sure you do too. Is the one we talked about earlier that we've done, is that going to be your favorite, or is that going to be a runner-up for you? You know what I'm talking about?
Man, I do. It may be a runner-up. It's going to be one of the two.
Okay.
I haven't really... It's probably a runner-up.
Okay. So, well, I'll let you bring that one up. We did Rudy for the show, and I think you were...
I liked it.
Yeah.
I remember liking it.
And I think I cooled on it a little bit. I think I found it a little bit to be too much. Like, it seemed redundant.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. But, Rudy's a solid movie. Remember the Titans is like my go-to sports movie. Like, that movie is exceptional. I think it's really well done. It shows like this microcosm of football team and the race relations and political climate around it and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's really well done for that.
I mean, I'm looking at this list on Wikipedia. It's a list of American football films, and there's so many I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I thought I had seen more than this. Of course, it also includes a lot of these 30 for 30. I've seen some of those, but I don't really think of those as
I don't
feature
think
films,
yeah.
even though I guess technically they are. But there's so many of these movies, like Remember the Titans, Blindside, We Are Marshall. I haven't seen any of that stuff. I feel Gridiron Gang. I'm remiss. Invincible with Mark Wahlberg.
Lucas, but not Lucas Black.
Luca Plakia from the 80s. Corey Haim, Charlie Sheen. Brian's Song, classic. Apparently, I guess it was remade. I didn't even realize that. Brian's Song, which I've not seen Brian's Song. It's got Billy D. Williams and James Caan.
Me either. This is like number 1 on here.
Yeah, so at Varsity Blues, I have seen. I've seen that a few times.
Yeah, but I don't really consider that a football movie. I guess it is.
I do, but it's silly. I don't want your life.
I don't want your life.
The Program, Necessary Roughness. Everybody's All-American with Dennis Quaid, who's in Any Given Sunday.
North Dallas 40. I've never heard of that.
So I'll go ahead and say I'd say my runner-up is the movie that you talked about with The Express.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah, The Express, the Ernie Anderson story. Yeah, we did it for the show. We paired it with Rudy, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Rudy, but I really liked.
Yeah.
The Express. I was so impressed with The Express.
I agree.
It's a really good movie. Because I mean, I think I had heard of Ernie Anderson maybe at some point or other, but I'd completely forgotten his story. So it's a very, very touching, heartbreaking story for what happened to him, because he had such promise. He was such a great football player, and his life was cut short by leukemia. Is that right? Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. Cancer in some form. I mean, it was terrible. But yeah, I thought the movie was really good. But do you have a runner-up? I don't want to jump into my number one spot.
I was gonna do like you said, The Express. So go ahead.
Oh, is that your number one?
No, that was my runner-up.
Your runner-up. Okay, I would say my number one is a movie that you said you never heard of, North Dallas 40.
Oh, really?
With Nick Nolte. Yeah.
I just saw this list. I have no idea what it is or what it's about.
It is a late 70s movie based, I think it came out in 79. It was based on a book written by a former NFL player.
Okay.
I think he's an NFL player, but former pro football player. And I like it because it's one of those warts and all approaches.
Yeah.
This is the kind of shit we had to go through.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like Any Given Sunday. We definitely partied, but we were in a lot of pain. We were shooting up painkillers all the time. We were taking drugs.
Yeah.
We were doing all this stuff. And as you can imagine, Nick Nolte, right? He's like
Yeah.
a football player.
I mean,
and
he's
probably experimented with a lot of that stuff as well.
Oh
in real
yeah, he
life,
probably
right? So-
was on the drugs during the thing.
Probably was, but that's a very entertaining, again, kind of warts and all. I remember it's a football movie, definitely, as in they do play football but it's more about what goes on off the field,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But I think it's a great film. It's a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of fun, but it's a good kind of dramatic film.
So it's not Leatherheads. It's not The Longest Yard. It's North Dallas 40.
No, although I liked Leatherheads with George Clooney.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, no, I Leatherheads is funny. And Longest Yard,
There's two of them, right?
yes,
Burt.
I know I've seen the Burt Reynolds one. I
Yeah.
think I'm not sure if I've seen the Adam Sandler one all the way through. The Burt Reynolds one is the actual game that they play, because they're like convicts playing against convicts against the prison guards, I
It
think.
sounds right, yeah.
The actual game in the original Longest Yard actually takes up like 45 minutes of screen time. It's very long. Yeah. So, all right, what's your number one?
My number one is a movie you mentioned. Is actually Necessary Roughness.
This is very roughness.
Is
That
yeah,
Scott Bakula?
it's Scott Bakula,
Yeah.
man.
Nice.
This was one of those movies that I just kind of like found on cable one day and watched it, and it was just playing so much that I watched it over and over again.
Nice.
It has Scott Bakula, and I love the sci-fi movie Quantum Leap, or sci-fi show he was in, Quantum Leap, and so I was like, oh, Scott Bakula's in this, and he plays like an aging kind of person who's like a farmhand, and then they recruit him back to play football. It's filmed at my alma mater, which is kind of cool to see.
that's cool.
Like, so it's filmed at North Texas, and to see some of the buildings that I went to and had classes in on the screen is interesting, and has Kathy Ireland in it,
yeah,
which
I
is,
remember that.
I mean, always a plus for me to
Yeah.
see her in any movie. So for me, it's a comedy, not really a straightforward football movie, but it's just such a nostalgia play for me, that movie, that I just really like it. I can't be critical if I don't like it or not, because
Yeah.
I just like it. It's
No,
a part of me.
I get that for sure. Necessary Roughness, I may have seen, but it came out around the same time, maybe even the same year as the movie The Program
Yeah.
with James Caan.
So this came out in 93, I believe. 91. When did the program come out? Go on with your thing.
But I would always
Program
get
came out in
those.
93.
I would always get those confused because they're both two football movies that came out,
Yeah.
near each other. But The Program, as I recall, had a scene in it where players, as like a hazing kind of thing or something like that, I don't remember. They actually lay down in highway traffic, and like cars are zooming past them. It's like an initiation kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I think they cut that scene after its theatrical run. They cut it when it was put out on VHS and
Oh,
DVD
interesting.
because kids were imitating that and were getting run over. They were getting hit by cars, which I thought was like crazy.
Yeah, no, that's insane.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you can find a copy of that film that has that scene intact,
Yeah.
but I think if you purchase it on like DVD, that scene's cut out.
Oh.
But that's not necessarily roughness, but I used to kind of get those movies confused.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure. All right. Well, that's our, anything else?
Nope.
That's our favorite football movies. It is Dallas North Dallas
North
40.
Dallas 40.
North Dallas 40 for you. It's Necessary Roughness for me.
But with a big, hearty recommendation for The Express as well.
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen that, I mean that's better than both the movies we did this week.
Really good, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of
for
the
sure.
one of the better movies we've talked about on the
Yeah.
show. For
It
sure.
doesn't have crazy ass editing or any of
No.
that to get its point across, right?
It is
It's just
great, solid acting, great, solid story.
yeah.
It is worth the effort to go find it and watch it. for
And
sure.
Dennis Quaid's in that too, right? Isn't he the coach?
Yeah, I think he is a coach.
Yeah, so he's in a lot of football movies.
Yeah, he loves football.
Crazy.
So that's our favorite football movies. Drop everything you're doing. Watch The Express if you haven't seen it. You will enjoy it. And if not, if you've already seen it, then watch one of the two movies we watched here. We talked about. That's Friday Night Lights. Let us know what you think about Friday Night Lights. Are you for the movie or are you for the TV show like me? Let us know in the comments down below or shoot us an email, realshame@gmail.com. Please like, subscribe, share, do all that social media stuff. It really does help, and we really do appreciate it. And stay tuned next week as we're watching some more movies from My List of Shame. This week was Andy's List of Shame, but there are movies I haven't seen. And next week there's some more movies from My List of Shame, or at least one. And stay tuned for that, and you'll find out soon. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon, guys. Bye.